Welcome to the show. After the kids go to bed, we talk about love, relationships, and sex. So join us for lively discussion and thought-provoking ideas at Love is on the Air. My name is David, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Natalie, contributor and chief over at the Feminine Frame website. Hello, and welcome to the show. Today is episode number 4 of Love is on the Air podcast.
Today's topic is based on dating trends and etiquette.
Today's sponsor is us, the Love is on the Air podcast. We have a newsletter that you should sign up for. It's ontheair.love/newsletter. To sign up to receive free show announcements, show notes, book recommendations, and more. Again, that URL is ontheair.love/newsletter. So, Natalie, today we are talking about dating and dating etiquette.
Yes, I'm so excited for this topic.
So, right off the bat, I want to get our finger on the pulse. What is happening at the larger society? So, we're going to venture into the world of TikTok cringe and get our bearings. So, let's take a look at this first video.
How much should a guy spend on a first date in Miami?
In Miami?
Like over $100, probably like $200.
Well, I mean, I think that's minimum
The
just
average
because
bill is
everything
like
is
$250.
expensive. But
Does that mean that he's gonna get sex afterwards?
No, it does not mean that.
not necessarily. It depends on the vibe for me.
So if he's spending $250 on a first date,
May get a kiss. May get a kiss.
Oh, what are your thoughts? What do you think of that one? That was wild.
That was pretty wild. So I think that it's not about the money. I don't think that there is a minimum amount of money that needs to be spent on a date.
All right, well, let's take a look at another one. We'll see if you're in the minority or majority opinion here. What do you think? You think more women have like a minimum number?
I don't think in real life they do. I think that these places that he's going to, maybe they do.
Really? I actually think it's kind of more indicative, but then again, I've been watching hundreds of TikTok videos on this subject, getting ready for tonight. Check this one out.
let's say I wanted to take you out in Miami. How much do you expect me to spend on you?
Shit, on an ideal dinner, probably like 300, 350.
What do I get in return?
Company, a good laugh, time with me. I don't know. It all depends on how the night goes. I'm not going to say that one thing can't lead to the other, but I'm not going to be like, hey, you spent this amount of money on me, I'm going to go home with you. No, it doesn't work that way.
Do you think it would be weird if I expected you to drop $300 on me?
All right, so she's saying $300 on a first date.
Yeah, that's a very nice date.
Let's check out this next one here.
How old are you?
28.
Let's say I wanted to take you out. How much do you expect me to spend on a first date?
Depends where we're going.
What's your expectation though?
I don't really have any.
So I could hit you up and say, hey, let's go to Burger King and get slushy?
No. I mean, at least like, nice 5-star type of restaurant, and then depending on how it goes, depending how I like you, and that all kind of goes with me even saying yes for a first actual date. So that takes a toll.
Okay. So 5-star restaurant in Miami, how much is that gonna range?
Depends how many drinks you'll be ordering.
Average.
Anywhere from 300 to 800 maybe. Jumpstart, yeah.
So realistically, you expect a man to spend $800 on a first date?
Yeah,
Has it happened before?
yeah.
He must be on some
This is
ritzy block somewhere where that's just the expectation on that block or something.
I'm telling you, this is more endemic than this, because this guy, the Desirable Truth channel, he does this a lot, and he's definitely somewhere in a nice area in Miami. But if you just do like a search on TikTok, you'll see
if he goes
this
to
same line
if
repeated.
he goes to like
over
suburban
and over.
Indiana, you think that most people in like the Midwest, your average girl is going to be like, you must spend $300 on me.
I actually
No.
don't think they would say that, but I think they would say a number. I don't think as many women are open and red-pilled as you are. I don't think so. I don't think most women have kind of dug into the research and understand, relationships and the red pill like you do. So, no, I don't think this is going to be like this everywhere. But I do think most women everywhere have a number they're thinking, like, he's got to spend X amount of dollars on me. You don't think
I don't
so?
know.
Okay,
Just
well, tell us, audience, what do you think? Do you think most women have a number like this? We'll see. All right,
No.
I got one more video to show you here.
What's the most a man should spend on a first date?
Minimum $25. I say minimum 50 per person. Like, I mean, with drinks and something, it just depends on where you're going. I mean, at this age right now, 50, maybe 40,
Okay.
30 to 40.
How about McDonald's or Wendy's 4 for $4?
Well, after that, just answer that question. For a date?
She said $50.
Absolutely not. No.
What's wrong with McDonald's?
That's like snack food, I feel like. Like, I personally, I mean, I'm not sound bougie, but if you take me to McDonald's, that'll be the last date we go on. Unless it's like we're going somewhere already and it was like a stop, but no.
What if I'm like, yo, be ready at 6, I'm gonna pick you up, and then we,
Take me to McDonald's, don't ever talk to me again. You're getting blocked.
Don't ever talk to me again.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and get that McChicken with no mayo and a small fry. And an ice cream cone. Honestly, like, I'm not like a bougie person.
I don't know what bougie means. What's bougie? Bourgeois?
yeah, I mean, I
Like-
think it's supposed to be like fancy, but it's often
All right, what's the real answer here? How much should a man... by the way, I loved that last girl in the pink dress. That was an
Okay.
amazing answer.
okay.
But tell me your answer. How much
Okay,
should
well,
a guy
first of all, no to McDonald's just because it's gross. Okay, McDonald's does not taste good. But if you want to like upgrade to Chick-fil-A, and maybe take it to a park instead of eating it there, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really practical advice from you. But yeah, how much should a man spend on a first date? I mean, for me, here's the thing. All these women are saying their number. But let's say that Jason Statham, or what's that Jason Momoa guy who's like this?
Jason Momoa. I
Yeah.
think that's how you say it.
There's
I don't know.
There's two Jasons I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Like,
Aquaman and Transporter.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. These two guys, let's say one of those guys shows up and he says, we're going to McDonald's. Yeah, are you going to get in and go to McDonald's? Like,
I mean, I would have to be really into him. Maybe yes to Jason
Yes!
Statham and no to Jason Momoa.
but
I don't know.
That's my whole point, is that I think women make these rules, but they will break the rules for an alpha male, right? They're going to say $300 minimum, $800, on a nice 5-star restaurant with drinks and $300 wine concierge service. But I think our alpha male, I think a woman's going to break rules for alpha, make rules for beta. And this is the beta rules I think we're seeing here. So that's what I think's going on here. And but I love this last woman. She's like, look, I'm getting a chicken McNugget or whatever she said, a McChicky or something. It's pretty hilarious. So I thought that was great. And if you look at the comments in that video, they're all like, oh, winner, she's awesome, amazing. What's her number? I'm asking for a friend. Just the response was overwhelming. And I think the real deal, I mean, for me personally, when I was dating, I mean, I never took them to a drive-through. Mm-hmm. Well, I shouldn't say never, but maybe if we were getting ice cream going on our way to somewhere else, maybe I would. But like for a dinner date, I never did fast food because even that's not a place like you said. Like I would want to eat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go to,
Yeah.
McDonald's.
I
but-
mean, I guess if you really like McDonald's, that can be like your litmus test for a woman. Does this woman like McDonald's? Because that's what we're eating at least twice a week. So,
I think if she's eating
know.
McDonald's with you, it's more than a litmus test for if she likes it. It's just like if she likes you.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I think there. But no, I think, well, if there, I like, the franchises like Chili's, Applebee's, one of these. I mean, maybe even Chick-fil-A in a pinch, but normally I would try and dress it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And back when I was dating, like, how long has it been? Like 10, 12, 15 years ago. Now it's been a while. Yeah, you could easily spend, the whole night, $40. Go to dinner, take her dancing or to a movie, you spend $40. So I think that's like a reasonable answer. But the real answer is that if a woman likes you, she'll make an exception for you.
And I will say that I have been on many dates back over a decade ago as well that were free. And you know what? They were just fine.
Well, and this is kind of story time here, but, we both went to BYU, and this is a Mormon college, and what a lot of people valued there wasn't like how much money you spent, but how creative the date was. Mm-hmm. I felt a lot of pressure as a guy to create this really, and it's unique. I don't think this is anywhere else in the world like this, where the creativity of the date is more important than how much you spend or where you go. It's what you're doing. Like, is this interesting? And there were a lot of dates like that. We do picnics, take a picnic out somewhere. I remember one date, I went up to the top of this hill. This was at BYU, Idaho. There's like this hill, and we did ice blocking. You go to the gas station and you buy a block of ice, and then you literally just rode it down the hill, and that was the date.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've been sledding and ice blocking on dates.
Yeah, so I mean, that's really kind of fun. I don't think it's a very common experience in my understanding of other colleges that are not religious colleges.
Yeah.
I think they're far more secular, and they get right to the business of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. What have I done? Okay, so we hiked to a mountain once. We hiked up to the Y.
You and I, or
no, just on a date, on
yeah.
a free date.
Yeah.
And we
Hiking.
hiked, and then we did paper airplanes, and we flew the paper airplanes off the mountains, and we ate sandwiches that he packed. Or another one, there was a free orchestra concert we went to. Or another one, we did kind of a scavenger hunt where he didn't set it up. We were just looking for things that started A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. I've gone to free art galleries. I've been on lots of free dates, and you know what? Those were perfect. The cost does not matter.
Well, and what all these people on TikTok are failing to realize is, what is the point of a date? What's your thought on that? What's the whole point of a date? And I'll tell you my thought.
Well, I think that the point of a date is to see if there is, one, chemistry, two, if there is, some compatibility in life goals, and where are you going? Are you guys going in the same direction? And maybe you don't find it all out on date one, but you're going to be looking to find that out pretty quickly.
What I realize now, and I wish I would have realized then, so young men, this is advice for you, is date to find a spouse. Like, that's the whole point. Mm-hmm. If you're not doing that, then stop. If you're with a woman and you're like, this woman could not bear my children, then stop the date. Like, seriously, go home and like never go out again.
Never ever go out again.
Well, not with that person,
Okay.
at least. Yeah. So yeah, no. That, in my opinion, it's like the whole point's to get to know them. Are you going to get to know them better in a movie theater, or are you going to get to know them better ice blocking? Like, I think the idea is that you want to do activities where you can learn more about them. So it's really not about the money. But again, if she likes you, she'll put these little rules she has for you on hold. All right, so speaking of first date etiquette, should the man hold the door open.
I think that it is a very nice gesture that I would appreciate. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very a kind of traditional thing, but I feel like for me personally, I don't really see the point of it anymore. So here's what I mean by that. Like, first of all, everything changes when you have kids because now you're both getting kids out of car seats and stuff. But
Well,
no,
when you're
on a date, your first
when you-
date, yeah, I mean, you could open the door symbolically, but I mean, that's what was the norm for, our parents' generation all the way back to the invention of the car and buggy. And, I imagine even helping ladies into the carriage coaches, horse-drawn stuff. So, yeah, I think it hails back to a different time. But at the same time, I don't really see it as a necessity anymore.
I don't know.
Only a symbolic
I think
gesture.
it's a nice thing. You can still open my door for me. And I know it's not practical when we're, out with the kids, but on the rare occasion that we go on a date and it's just you and I and you're not carrying, 3 kids in 2 arms, I think it's a nice gesture. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do it,
but my thought on
please.
it is I think you can, but I don't think you have to. That's my opinion.
And I do know that some women, I have seen women get upset at men for holding the door open for them.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
that's what I mean is like they say chivalry is dead, but I think women killed it. I actually was chastised once for holding a door open for a woman. And you never forget stuff like that because when you raised to hold doors open and go get her door and all this stuff. And then the first time someone like kind of talks you down after that, you feel like, okay, I'm not doing this for people who could care less about me. And a lot of men feel left behind in society. So they feel like, why be chivalrous? There's no societal contract anymore for that. So men, if you want to hold the door open, do it. But I don't
think,
feel like you
I
need
think
to.
so. And if you find a woman who is, traditional and wants to have, a traditional type of marriage and take care of you, then that's the kind of woman who's going to appreciate it.
All right. So what do you think about sex on a first date?
No.
No,
No.
she says. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple more clips here.
Okay.
So let's jump into the clips. And we're not going to watch the whole clip, just enough to get, because there's thousands of them, and they all say the exact same thing. So you'll hear
What
it.
is your opinion on sleeping with somebody on the first date?
My personal opinion is that if it's the right person, there's no wrong time for anything. So there's no wrong time to start dating. There's no wrong time to kiss them. There's no wrong time to have sex with them. Nothing. That being said,
So that's opinion number 1. Let's just see what this guy.
How many dates before sex? The $1 million question that every single woman asks me in my consultations. What's too soon? What's appropriate? I don't want to move too fast. I don't want him to think I'm easy, but I also don't want to make him wait too long and have him lose interest. Ladies, there is no magic number.
No magic number. By the way, he's a good-looking guy, but I doubt women are like, hey, I need your help. Like, he's a consultation. Like, what is he, like a dating coach or something for women? Seems unlikely, but...
Maybe. I don't know. I've never seen him before, but maybe he has a following and really gets a lot of questions about it.
I bet he has a following, but...
He probably gets
Do
questions
you think
about
he's
that.
like a coach of some sort? Like a pickup artist, but for women?
Why not? Why not?
I doubt it. I doubt women are coming to him for advice. But I could be wrong. Okay. This one's going to be a really short clip.
I always see and hear girls say, I don't want to have sex with him on the first date because... And then they go on to provide a list of reasons. He won't respect them, he won't want to date them, blah, 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 blah. But here's my thing. If it's the end of a first date, second date, you just met each other, whatever, and you both are feeling comfortable enough to have sex, go get that...
Okay, so she says, some words here.
Okay.
That I don't want to mute out later.
Not for my ears.
Well, no, it's a pain in the butt to mute them later.
Right.
So I don't want to do that. That's really the reason I want to keep this. I mean, these are adult topics, but we want to keep it classy around here.
Hot take. Who gives a whether we're having sex on the first date? When it comes to dating in the 21st century, there seems to be all these supposed guidelines we have to follow to find the perfect match. Don't be too eager. Don't flirt too much. Keep politics and religion off the table. And most importantly, don't bring them home too soon. Is it 2 dates? 3? Is it 2 months? Do you wait until after you say I love you? Depending on who you ask, there seems to be a different magic formula when you get to see each other naked. That's bullshit. The entire idea stems from purity culture, an idea mostly pushed on women. In order that to be of value, we have to be pure. Sexually pure, that is. Excuse me while I vomit in my mouth. Saying that a potential relationship could be devalued because the couple decided to do it the first time they met is so prudish. It's 2023. Why are we so obsessed with how and when people have sex? Not your body, none of your business. As long as the people involved are consenting adults, why does it matter when they do it? Not only is inserting yourself in other people's sex lives a blatant invasion
All
of
right,
privacy,
I gotta
pushing
pause
that
it
rhetoric
here.
is a gateway.
Her main argument here is, hey, it's 2023. I love this argument, Natalie. It's like, well, don't you know what the year is right now? That's reason enough to think my argument is good. It's the current year. It's the year we're in right now. You should know this. If you just do the opposite of whatever and now this video says, you will be set for life. Like whatever they say, do the opposite. You're good. Like this is the worst advice ever. Now, blaming purity culture. The thing is, dating and marriage standards have been passed down from generation to generation. Just because something is traditional doesn't make it bad, right? It's really nobody's business. Nobody's business what you do. And while I do kind of have that libertarian mindset of, you know, you are free to do what you want, I want to clarify that I think it's good. I think it's okay that society has morals, society has standards of what we consider to be upstanding behavior. For example, we don't want people masturbating on the public bus, right? We as a society have a right to kind of say, hey, you know, he might not be hurting anybody, but this is disgusting or distasteful. Like as a society, we have a vested interest in the moral and the mental and the spiritual well-being of the society. There's no just mind your own business. It's a terrible argument. It's like, why do you care about the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being of society you live in? It's like, we should all care about that. Why do you not care about that? So just, it's none of your business. You know, but she's like, you shouldn't have an opinion on this. And yet she's here spouting her opinion. So the number of hypocritical things she's saying in here is off the charts. Take a listen to the rest of this.
Advancing laws that seek to control sex and bodily autonomy. Let's not pretend there isn't a direct correlation between these virtuous ideas and decisions about abortion access, gender identity, LGBTQIA+ rights, and anything that goes against the white picket fence, apple pie, all American traditional image. Lastly, you have to know if you and your partner align in the bedroom or the kitchen or the shower. Sexual compatibility matters.
See how she's taken this idea of sex on a first date and now she's pushing all political
that's
ideologies.
a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's not fixing issues with purity culture, because we did have that, you know, satanic panic in the 90s, but it's not really like fixing what's wrong with it. It's just replacing it all together. And, you know, it's just funny. She's like, it's an invasion of privacy. Unless I'm telling you what to do, then you should listen to me. So this woman. I'm sorry, I gotta let you a chance to jump in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking more big picture than I am right now, but that's good. I like hearing your thoughts on that. You know, I think that, you know, who cares if you have sex on the first date? Well, you might care 3 weeks down the line when he's not calling you back and you're heartbroken, you might care that you feel empty after sleeping with a stranger.
Yeah, well, there's the immediate ramification. Yeah, and I think I was talking more about societal ramifications. But on an individual level,
there's still
again, what's the
reasons.
point of the date in the first place? Like, if you are just a hedonist and all you care about, you don't want to start a family, the world's on fire, why start a family? I can't afford a family. If everything is just terrible for you, then yeah, this philosophy kind of makes sense. Like, just, eat, sleep, be merry, sleep around and be merry. For tomorrow we die. But what if you want children? What if you want a stable relationship? What if you want to be married, and have someone to go through life with you? Is sleeping on the first date the best way to achieve that?
And I would say that no, it is not.
I don't think so either. And this isn't even like a religious purity point of view. I'm not even suggesting religion at this point. Like, there's been lots of research done on women who are promiscuous, let's say, that the more sexual partners they have before marriage, the less happy they are, for one, but the less they can bond with their partner, because just like we were talking about Jada Smith the other day, she is emotionally connected to somebody else. She's emotionally bonded to someone else that isn't her husband. So that same thing can happen to lots of women. I don't know why it's not that way for men. I don't know the evolutionary reasons. Perhaps it's just, the availability of the Vikings that would go and, the women that would bond with the man, and then that man dies in war and they're able to accept another person coming in. That may be a selection strategy. Whereas men, their selection strategy is to have as much sex as possible. But at the same time, if you are in a modern society and you care about having a stable relationship, this is terrible advice. Don't have sex on the first date.
Yeah,
don't have sex at least until you know if you want to marry somebody. Because if you do before, you've kind of, I guess, unwrapped the gift already, for one way of putting it. I don't know. It is a little different for men, too. I think this is especially true for women. There's a reason for generations the tradition of women has been, don't have sex before, because you're the gatekeeper. You hold the keys to sex, right? Men hold the key to resources. Women hold the key to sex and commitment. So women hold the keys to sex, and if you just give away the keys on the first night, what do you have to use to find out if you want to be married to this person? Well, presumably you keep dating and dating and dating, but I don't know. Terrible idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, would not recommend.
All right. So, continuing on, how should you dress on the first date?
I don't think that you need to be, dressed in a potato sack.
What if you're going ice blocking?
Hiding your body, unless if you're going ice blocking, in which case, wear the big snow pants and a big poofy parka jacket, and that would be appropriate. So dress appropriately for whatever activity you're doing. And if your goal is to secure a long-term partner and a marriage down the line, then you might consider not showing it all off at once, because that is not going to put you in his mind as the kind of woman who he can take home to his family, who he can envision being the mother of his children, someone he's going to take seriously and respect.
Well, I agree with that. As a man, and as most men, we are very visually stimulated. So the more revealing the outfit is, the more stimulating you're going to be. This is kind of common sense, right?
Right. And I mean, you want to be stimulating, but not too stimulating. So wear something certainly nicer than your everyday wear. Put a little bit more thought into it. Make sure there's no stains, make sure you iron your shirts and get out all the wrinkles. Make sure that it's flattering for your body type and your skin tone. And if you want to be a little bit revealing in one place, make sure you're more covered everywhere else.
Okay, well, that's good advice for the women. For the men, I see a lot of guys go out on dates and they're wearing like a t-shirt, like a V-cut tee or something like that. Maybe if you got a jacket on, that works. But I would say that men definitely should dress up a little bit. Now, again, if you're going ice blocking, put the snow pants on. But, if you're going out to a nice restaurant or even if it's just Chick-fil-A, I think, at least a button-up shirt. Depending on the activity. So, I would say I see a lot of these videos of people on dates, and I would say dress to impress. That's kind of my thought. You can feel underdressed a lot easier than you can feel overdressed, I guess. So I don't know. Wear something nice. Okay, so. Let's see. Do we have any other clips to show? Let's take a look here.
Okay, so we were on that one. So.
Oh, okay. This is the. We've talked sex to death, so I'm done with talking about that. So let's do one last topic here, and then we'll wrap it up.
Hold on, but we got to do who pays. Is that what this is?
Oh well, no, that's another thing. Who does pay?
Okay, well, I want to know your thoughts on this first. We've been teasing this with each other, but we haven't revealed what we think. And so I'm so insanely curious what your thoughts are on this.
So who should pay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a man should pay. I do. Okay. And it's not just because that's social convention handed down for now. I think it gives man control of the date, right? If you're a man and the woman is paying, let's say you're not having a good time on the date or whatever. If she's paying, you kind of feel obligated to stay through the date. So I think, in a lot of ways, men should pay for that date because it empowers them. It's like, hey, I'm not feeling it, and you just go home. You know what I mean? Don't waste any more time on somebody that is just not going to be a compatible fit for you, or someone that you'd like to get to know better. So yes, I think a guy should definitely pay for that date. I think he should plan it. This is just part of our hunting nature. And if you can put together a nice date for her, even if it's not expensive, I don't think it should be expensive necessarily. And if you're not doing something expensive and she balks at it, she won't even get in the car if you tell her you're taking her to Wendy's, then you've saved yourself a big bullet. You've dodged the bullet there. So I think a man should pay because it empowers him to be in control of the date and what they do. And if she balks at it, he can cut and run.
Okay. Well, here's my thoughts. I also think that the man should pay, and there is a lot of reasons for that. So let's just I'll try and be kind of succinct with this, but reason number one, if you are a woman and you are looking for a long-term relationship and a marriage where eventually you will be having children and you want a man who is going to be happy to provide, then you are going to be looking for, you're going to want to, okay, let's do take two.
Okay.
We'll do a take two and you can edit that part out. Okay, so.
Yes, editing is easy and fun.
Sorry. I'm not good with words. Me no good with words.
Okay.
Okay. So I also think that the man should pay.
And why is that?
Well, many reasons, but reason number one, if you are a woman who is looking for a long-term relationship and a marriage where eventually you will be staying home and caring for the children, and you're looking for a more traditional type relationship, then you are going to be If the man doesn't pay or he wants to split the bill, then he is probably not a traditional man who is going to be happy in that role. So that is reason number one.
Yeah, let me just stop you before you go to reason number two. So a lot of the women we've seen in these clips tonight, it feels like they want a man that's traditional and they want him to spend $300 to $800, but they're not wanting to be traditional. So it feels like they want it both ways. They want a man that's traditional, but they don't want to stay home and be housewives.
Right.
And maybe that's just my impression of a woman that wants an $800 first date. But all these women seem to be very loose on the morals there, on their personal standards of how much sex they're going to have on the first date or whatever. So
Yeah, absolutely. If you want a traditional man, be a traditional woman, and vice versa.
yeah, I think there's a big rules for him and not for her in this modern society. I think we've seen a couple examples of that tonight.
Okay, reason number two. Remember, we're filtering out men that are going to be good long-term matches, and this is kind of a litmus test. So reason number two, there are a lot of men who are kind of bitter and angry towards women, and towards feminism in general, and they say, hey, women, they're working and so reason number two is we have a lot of men out there who are a little bit bitter and angry towards women, and they take the position that, hey, women are just as equal as men, so they should be paying. So we're going to be using paying on a date as a litmus test for men who are bitter against women. We don't want men who are carrying that baggage. So that's reason number two. Reason number three, and this is huge, is if you are asking to split the bill, you are putting yourself into the friend zone. Now, let me explain myself a little bit here,
All right, let's
okay?
see what you have to say
Do you know where I'm going here?
I don't.
Okay, so sometimes, and maybe this is a little bit different with dating apps. It's pretty clear that you're on a date with a dating app. But sometimes when you meet a girl in real life and you ask her on a date, it's nerve-wracking. And you're nervous when you ask her. And so sometimes when a man asks a woman on a date, it's a little bit ambiguous if it's a date or not. He might say something, hey, would you want to hang out? Or, me and this group of people are going to do this thing. Would you like to come with me? And so as a woman, you wonder, is he asking me on a date or are we just going as friends? So if you go out with him and he pays, it's made his intention clear, hey, this was a date. He is asking you out. If he says, hey, let's split the bill, then you're going to think, oh, he just meant to be friends. He just meant this to be a friend type activity.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Again, I think a man should pay for the reason I stated earlier. It puts him in control of the date. It does signal to you, or to the woman, that yes, this is a date I'm exploring to see if this is a relationship that would be worth pursuing. I like you enough to want to see if, I'm attracted enough physically right off the bat to see where this is going. So,
right.
But now there's a caveat here and an advice to women. Offer to pay. Now, as a man, I think you should pay. Turn down that offer. But if I met a woman on a date and she didn't offer to pay or split, then I would be, that's kind of a red flag for me. It's like, in a world where we aren't sure if a woman we're meeting is extremely traditional or extremely modern, as a guy, it's not the biggest red flag, but it would still indicate that she's not willing to put in any effort of her own. Now, there's another way she could do it without paying. So, for example, she could say, hey, I really had fun tonight. Why don't, or let's say it's in the conversation at the dinner. Oh, this is really good. bloomin' onion or whatever. But I make the best whatever, I make the best blooming onion. We should at some point, kind of leave it open. Like I should cook for us sometime or something like that. Like if you're offering something in return, some value you're giving back, it shows you're invested in continuing and maybe the date's going poorly, so you don't do this. But I think if you are interested in the guy, at least enough to say yes to a first date, maybe even a second date, then I would offer to pay. And then I would say, or at least split. So I think women should do that Okay. I think they should. They should offer to pay.
I'm going to disagree here. Because again, I'm saying we're using this as a litmus test to see what kind of guy this is, what his values are. So I would not go reaching for my wallet. I would say I would give him the chance to be gracious and pay. Now, ladies, bring your wallet, because we know in this day and age, many men expect to split the bill. So bring your wallet and be ready to pay. But no, I would not go reaching for my wallet. And, again, even if he explicitly asked me on a date and then he expects to split the bill, then I'm going to assume he is not having a good time. He doesn't see a future with me. Bam, you've just friend zoned yourself. Okay? So, no.
Well, but I'm not saying a man should ask her to pay. I'm just saying if she doesn't offer, that could be an indication that she's not going to put effort into the relationship. Now, the other thing this is the biggest red flag, if she doesn't thank you graciously for paying for the date. If there's
that
and
I
you
agree
mentioned
with.
it, and that's the other red flag. Like someone who isn't interested in splitting and isn't grateful that you planned, paid for, picked up, drove, did all the things, all a woman has to do is get dressed and ready. And to a woman, this is a monumental experience. I understand this. But, that's all you got to do. The man's really doing all the work and paying for it. So if she's not grateful, that's a really big red flag. 'Cause she's not going to be grateful in marriage or down the line.
I agree. Be grateful. And I even agree that a woman, if she is interested, should reciprocate in some way. And maybe that's after the date, sending a text, hey, that was wonderful. I would love to meet up with you again. Or very soon arranging to cook for him or bring him cookies or whatever.
I guess she doesn't have to offer to pay for the date. But what I'm saying is she has to offer something in return. And I'm not suggesting sex here. No. I know that's the quid pro quo.
That's too much.
But offering, maybe to make you dinner next time, or, hey, next time I have a great idea, just something in the future that lets you know she's interested in continuing and she wants to invest her time. Because if she's not willing to invest time into you, the relationship's not going to go anywhere. So keep an eye out for those little subtle clues that she wants to invest her time or money in the future. It could be anything that comes up in conversation. You're talking about food and she says, I know a great ice cream joint. Let's go there sometime. So if she's willing to invest that time,
right,
or offer to pay, I think those are
right.
Clear indicators that she's willing to put in effort for you.
Yeah, and as a general etiquette rule, dating or otherwise, when you invite somebody out, typically you're paying. So if it's the man asking the woman out, or it's kind of a mutual decision, then the man should pay, which is how it usually is. But if you, as a woman, are inviting a man to pay, or if you're, as a woman, invite a man on a date, expect to pay, bring your wallet, and I think it's still a very nice gesture for the man to offer to pay. I've been in this position and the men have been insistent on paying, and that was a very nice gesture. But just as a general etiquette rule, that if you invite somebody out, that you should pay.
Yeah, so look for women that are interested in adding value to the relationship in some way. It doesn't have to be pay necessarily, but
right, free dates are great.
But I think that's an easy way to do it. It's like, hey, you want to split the deal, or you want me to pay? And he should say, no, I got it. This is my
Yeah.
deal.
Again, I would say don't reciprocate
I say
in that
do.
way. I say don't.
Okay.
I say don't.
All right. So you gotta.
Or find another way to show interest and gratitude and reciprocate, but don't offer to pay.
Fair enough. Well, at least there's some consensus there, some way of reciprocating that interest and that, that gratitude for all that he's done. So what's the rule on after a date? How soon do you text?
Okay, are we watching a video on it, or do you just want my initial
I want
thoughts?
your initial thoughts.
I don't think that there is a hard, fast. I think you can text, as you get home. That's fine. Maybe not too late. You might not want to text at 3 a.m. when he's sleeping. But, I think that night as you get home or sometime in the next day or two, you probably want to do it fairly quickly so he knows that you're interested. So within the next day or two.
Yeah, I see a lot of people make hard and fast rules for this. And in my thought, you don't need rules. Just if you had a good time, reach out. Maybe it's too late that night, but maybe the next day, hey, I had a great time. Let's do it again. Just something. Or maybe you had a really great time and you both want to pursue it more. You can text the next day. I don't think there's this need to follow a strict set of rules. You make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you are texting with the person that you're dating and this happens, I want you to stop immediately. If you guys are chatting and you might start to see this person is kind of getting down to the one-word answers, or you start to see that the conversation is dissipating and they just react to a message, they heart it, they thumb it up, they do something, this is not your invitation to keep the conversation going. And this isn't a place for anxiety to go, okay, say something that just to keep them on. That is them setting a boundary that they are done with the conversation. When someone just hearts a message and leaves it and they don't respond after it, do not try to double text, triple text, and get them to get back into it. Instead, just leave it. That is their ending place for the conversation. Respect it. And when they want to pick back up on the conversation, let them contact you. Unless you have something to say in the interim that is worth.
First of all, this woman is not going to get married and find love. I don't know that. That's a little harsh, but they're making dating too complicated. There's these rules for texting. If they say, if she hearts a message and then you keep texting her, that's her way of saying, I'm done here. Or how about just saying goodnight? That's my way of saying, or if it's in the morning, like, I got to go, something like that. Or just simply stop responding for a while. That's all fine. I don't think we need these elaborate set of rules to say when to text somebody. And I really wouldn't read too much into when somebody texts you. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. I know this is an item of great speculation amongst women, but and men too. They're like, when should I text? But
yeah,
do it when you want. And if the woman is this like concerned about rules about when you can text her and when you can't, she's making rules for you. You're not an alpha to her, so move on to somebody that will break rules for you.
Yeah, I think that people are busy in their lives, and that's the whole point of texting, is that you can put it down and then come back to it later. So if somebody just hearts your message, it might just be a quick acknowledgement. Hey, I saw that. I liked it, but I'm busy at the moment. Now, I do think that this is the same as with being with somebody in real life. If you're on a date with somebody in real life and you're trying to engage them and you're asking them questions, trying to get to know them, and they're just giving you one-word answers and they're not asking about you or seeming interested, then that might be a good indication that they're either a really bad conversationalist or that they're not interested. And so,
I mean, they could be nervous too.
Right.
But I think that's probably a whole nother episode is, how to engage someone in conversation, because that is a skill you can learn.
That is.
But it's way it's way more nuanced when you have somebody. You can read their facial expressions. You can hear their tone of voice. When you're texting, you lose all that context.
Right.
So you can't tell if they heart a message and they're like, I don't want to talk to you right now.
Right.
It's
When
just
I
way
think
too
I think this
complicated.
is, maybe saying in general, not after one heart. I wouldn't read into that at all. But if they're repeatedly not giving you anything back, or not texting you for days on end, then it could be, if you're in the beginning stages of dating, could just signal that they're not interested. And maybe that's what she's getting at. But no, I don't think it's like, oh, you're a creep because you messaged me back after I only hearted it. Don't you know that means that I want to stop talking to you? And for a lot of people, they don't want to get to know somebody through text. They want to use texting for logistics, and this might be especially true for men. They might be in their mind thinking, I want to, text this woman, find out, when, what, and where, and then let's meet up in real life and we can connect and talk then.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Remember to sign up for the newsletter at ontheair.love/newsletter, and follow us on all your favorite platforms. We are on Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Please share the episode, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Take care, and until next time, love is on the air.
Love is on the air.